Hey, welcome back to another episode of Fishing is My Summer Job, and as you can see here, it got off to a great start. Did not have my GoPro with me on this trip, but I did get a little bit of video there of a real nice one jumping. This fish was a 19 inches. I also got a 20 incher on that same trip. Afterwards, the next day, I went out with that same popper, working a different stretch of the river, trying to pull up some bass that I think are in that area, and didn't find the bass. But I did find just a huge amount of panfish, and that's what we're gonna take a look at today. And we'll talk a little bit about what I was looking for as I was fishing them. As you can see, this rock bass was super motivated. It come up and hit the giant popper. I bought a bunch of these poppers at Moving Water Outfitters down in Zionsville, Indiana, when I was down for my daughters. I switched over to this fly after that popper, and this next clip is continuous. I don't edit it at all. I start off with this cast and this fish, and I think it's for 2.5 minutes straight, just hits and catching fish, bluegills, rock bass. It was a lot of fun. The fish are up in this area doing some spawning, I think, or at least they're in there hitting bugs that were getting ready to hatch too. Just a ton of action. It was just a lot of fun. If you ever get in the area, I downsized and switched plans because you know what? I'm out on the river to do one thing, and that's have a good time and catch some fish, and it happened on this trip. Now, as you watch, my presentation is really simple. I tried to get them on the dead drift. If nothing hit right off the bat, all I had to do was wait a second, give it a couple little twitches, and then something would come up and hit. Sometimes they would hit and miss too, and just kind of let it go, and then those fish just were there. They really were working hard. It was a total action-packed trip. I fished for about 2.5 hours. I don't know, I think I caught anywhere from 60 to 100 rock bass and bluegills over that time, which was just a ton of fun. I also had a couple of my subscribers. I gotta apologize, guys, I don't have your names written down here, but I saw you subscribe. A couple guys kayaked behind me. Were really nice guys. Looked like they were having a good time out there fishing too. Appreciate you guys, subscribing. Hopefully you'll see something interesting in the videos, or at least you know where I was fishing at. So you can go back and catch a few of these fish too. Yeah, the great thing about panfish is usually that's one of the species that you can go in, as long as you're not cleaning them out on the beds and you're taking enough to get a meal, that's a good fish to eat. Smallmouth, on the other hand, no. That's a fish that just takes too long to grow to get to any size. And, if you're out there keeping those, your fishery will fall apart at some point because you need the big fish in there for spawning, and if you want to catch fish that have a good quality, which we do get in this river. Now, the stretch I'm on here does get hit pretty hard. There's a lot of people will float this stretch. I'm hoping that most are, catching and releasing the bass. If they are, then this fishery is going to last for quite some time. If not, it's going to be in trouble at some point. Now, this last little clip, and I edited out a lot. If you've ever been on the river, you can see I fished quite a ways. I caught fish the whole way. I got this little log jam coming up into the bridge just before I get out. Initially I hooked this rock bass and fight it in. And now I have not caught one smallmouth the whole time. Now, the guys who went behind me caught a couple up further, and they had a big pike swim up that they saw that I didn't. So I was fishing really small stuff at that point when I went through the area that they did well on, had fish that they saw on and landed a couple. But like I say, I caught this rock bass, and then I go right back in with the next cast, and I get my first smallmouth of the day. And you can see on this video real clearly the difference in the fight between even a smallmouth and what the panfish are doing. Now, the bluegills will run a little bit, but nothing like what you're going to see off this next fish. It's kind of fun to watch. The water's nice and clear. You can see there's a big rock in front of me, and then I cast up between it along the edge. I give it a couple little twitches, and boom, he's on. Like all smallmouth, it'll come up and jump for you a little bit. And just watch the line move across the river as this fish is going. It then tries to take me into the rock, which is kind of, you know, one of their moves, to get you in there and try to knock you off. I got it away from the rock, and then the rest is history. So, I mean, like I say, I had a great time fishing. As always, you know, I try to bring you something unique and different. I've got a trip coming up here in the next week or so up to Higgins Lake. I'll be doing some trout fishing up there, probably both trolling and also with a fly rod out on the Sabo River system. So just had a blast this first week of summer vacation. Caught a bunch of fish. I did get out walleye fishing and got one walleye. So hey, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next episode.